Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Instrumental Music, Metal Compilation Volume 3, royalty free. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of more than 19,000 foreign exchange traders. We're stationed around the world, watching the markets, watching the charts, watching the clock, and then gathering here this time of day to collaborate, looking for trade plans based on technical and fundamental analysis. And that's what we're going to do. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, not necessarily indicative of future results, but please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money cannot afford to lose. My name is Wayne McDonald. I will be your guide on this journey we call Forex. Please ask questions, get involved, take notes. Please click the thumbs up button, tell YouTube this is quality content. And at the end of the stream, what you do is you take all those notes that you gathered and then you document them on the recording in the comments section. Why would you do such a thing? Because then you can search your YouTube comments and you can find the specific video. So if today, I don't know, I'll make up something now, we talked about chaos theory, and you're like, man, I really like that discussion on chaos theory. You had marked that down today, you know, Wayne talked about chaos theory, and I really liked it for these couple of reasons. Well, the thing is now you, inside of YouTube, you can search for your comments and you bring up chaos theory and you'll bring up that one particular video. Now, if you timestamp it too, then you'll know you can just skip to that point where I'm talking about chaos theory. See that? Like you can customize your own educational journey here at Forex.Today, but you actually have to do it. So that's up to you, man. So great. If you don't know me, I've been trading for almost 20 years. And before that, I was an investor in the venture finance world, and before that I was a successful entrepreneur. Before that I worked at NASA. Been an entrepreneur my whole life. Yeah, there you go. So anyways, after all those years of business experience, what I found was the foreign exchange market is by far the purest form of business in the world. We literally buy and sell money. Money is product, money is the service, money is the result, or loss of money is the result. So I just love that as a business. I'm still just absolutely fascinated by it. So very cool. I also invite you to visit tradersway.com. They're a foreign exchange broker. You're a foreign exchange trader. You're going to need to choose a broker. If you're new to the foreign exchange market, how do you choose between this one or that one or the last one or all of these? And you're like, what's going on? Should I pick the cheapest? Right? No, but you should pick a broker that you trust. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. And there's many ways to earn that trust, but you need to begin and start the relationship. Traders Way has earned my loyalty and respect and trust. Perhaps they can earn yours. You start that relationship by going to tradersway.com, open up a demo account. Execution speed will be fast. Spreads are narrow. Swaps are huge. Customer service is world-class. And maybe, just maybe, they're above average good-looking people. Tradersway.com. And here he is. So what you want to do? Okay. I figure we'll do some dollar pairs, yen pairs, gold, oil, and Bitcoin. Cool. Seems reasonable to me. Let's in fact start. Okay. Let's in fact start with crypto. Cool. All right, take a look. This is on a 15-minute chart looking at daily, monthly, and weekly pivots. Okay. So back in here, we have a top forming around 68,000. Okay. Little double top. We call this a roll reversal. So we have the lower low, lower high, okay, followed by a lower low. You'd probably want to grab this across like that. And as long as it's making, so let me re-highlight this, double top's important, lower low, lower high, lower low is right. So the next lower high might be somewhere up in there. And as long as it keeps doing that, that will continue forever. And of course, it won't last forever, but you have to pay attention to lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Okay, this is on a 15-minute chart. You might not want to use a 15-minute chart, and you can say, well, I want to analyze Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart. Okay, good. So yesterday, okay, early yesterday, on a 4-hour chart, we have a 2155 cross down. This market is technically bearish. Okay, that's all. So, like I said earlier, on a 15-minute chart, I'd say, I'd look at this sort of zone here as a potential role reversal to the downside. But now the 4-hour 21 is there in a bearish market, which would also indicate something somewhat the same. Well, not that that will happen, but the probability is quite reasonable. So if you're bullish and you're buying here at the bottom, just remember that's where your first real challenge is likely to be. Looks like 63 could be your number, could be up here, okay? But the idea is the lower low predicts a lower high. So if you're buying a lower low, you might be making money right now and you're like, oh, because I'm so bullish on Bitcoin, it's going to go to 100,000. Hey, I'm not disagreeing with that. But buying lower lows is not what bulls do. So I'm not sure what you are. You're like, well, a bear wouldn't buy down there either. Well, because bears don't buy. So then if bulls don't buy a lower low and bears don't buy the lower low, who buys lower lows? In my opinion, I don't mean this to be hurtful, but in my opinion, degenerate gamblers. Okay, the risk far outweighs the reward, and therefore it's a gamble. I bet you it's going to go back to 100,000 now. Uh-huh. Well, that's not what the Wayne do. Okay? Pigs, yeah. Yep. Cool. So, one of the crypto websites was quoted as saying cryptocurrencies lost 10% yesterday as an industry. Okay? That's 2 bad years for the dollar. 2 bad years in a row. That's 1 day loss. 1 day. Not in a month, not in a quarter, not in a year, not in over a period of a couple of years. In 1 day, the asset class lost 10%. So really difficult to say it's a store of value, but definitely an opportunity for asset appreciation. You know what I mean? Right? Still a great opportunity. It's an asset class to trade. It's a tradable asset, but it'd be hard to argue a store of value. Anyways, and you might say, oh, wow, the dollar sucks and it's going to be worthless. Yeah, well, it loses 2 or 3% a year based on people actually using it, right? There's reasons for it. So anyways, whatever. I'm not here to poo-poo on Bitcoin. I like crypto. It's all good, man. It's all good. All right. Okay. This says verbal intervention at work, which is really good. See, as we were kind of trying to rise, what we've found, okay, and I don't mind lower oil prices. I just don't like when they're artificially low. So anyways, what we have here is we've made our way back to $80 a barrel, which is fine. And I still think this could go to 100. It's fine. But the issue is verbal intervention. Okay? Darko says, hey, how about Canadian CPI? Will that influence CAD? Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Okay, so we have verbal intervention about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve being tapped. And the interesting thing is, as I mentioned before, the getting the world to talk about it is almost as good as actually doing it. This verbal intervention. So all you have to do is really say, hey, hey, we're the government and we're thinking about releasing a whole bunch of oil out of our strategic petroleum reserve and increasing supply. And people are like, oh my God, they're going to tap the SPR. And it brings the price down. And then they're like, no, we changed our mind. Okay. They got oil prices down without actually doing anything. Central banks are really good at this, by the way. Okay, so now what? So I don't know. Are you a bull or a bear? You're going to have to ask for that, right? Ask yourself that. 80 is a pretty big psych level. Where else can we go? Let's back out a little more. And I got this double marked here down near 78, 77, 75 sort of area. I'm looking at this gray zone that I have highlighted in here. Okay. That's pretty legitimate support and opportunity to do some buys. Okay. Okay. Coolio. So it doesn't have to go up here. It's a big psych level that we're sitting on right now. But, 75 is a big psych level too, right? So be careful in here. It's trading kind of rangy, actually, because it could have rallied up yesterday and it didn't and all that kind of stuff. So, Okay, so we did Bitcoin, we did oil, let's do gold. Yeah, gold collapsed on us yesterday, huh? Well, that big move in the dollar will do that for sure. Okay, so it put a dip, like a dent almost, into the trading week. We're still clearly above the 21 EMA, 21 is still clearly above the 55. It's still technically bullish. I don't like drops in daily pivots, but you don't have to be a day trader, right? What do we know about the weekly swing? The weekly swing has a buy zone of right here. So you could argue if you're a bull, hey man, that looks like my first buying price as a swing. Okay, this is a swing buy. Swing buy. Sweet XAU. Right? Lucas says, looks like an old man. Yeah, it could happen that way, for sure. So, yeah, depends on, right? I mean, it's a bit inconclusive, Lucas, just because we're not kicking up to 55, which would really validate that thought process. But we did breach the 21. But all we did is like drop into our swing. So I think traders really could argue both ways and be just as technically right. Okay? So it really comes down to the conviction of the market and so on and so forth, right? Oh. Yeah, no, my bad. Okay. So, interesting, right? So looking at this, okay. So I get it. So bulls had every right to buy down in here. I don't typically like this idea of buying the lower daily pivot, but I don't see that. Even though we're in the green zone, that's sort of irrelevant because that got pulled down as price came down. But I do see, 1848.7. Okay. So, I think this is still swingable. Okay. I think it's still swingable. And that would put us to 1900. And if you recall, that was our target a long time ago. I don't even recall how long ago that we were targeting 1900. Okay. So maybe that's me forcing this up to the target, but I think there's a reasonable chance of it. That's all. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so that was gold, oil, and Bitcoin. What would you guys like to do next? Yen pairs or dollar pairs? What would you like next? How can I help you? I am your humble servant. Yen, yen, yen. Marco, we'll get to exotics. Bring it up later. Yen, 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 yen. Okay. Okay now. Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Start with Aussie. Okay, we're still in our buy zone. It's still not falling, but not rising. I'm a little worried about the daily 21 holding us down. That bothers me a little bit, but at the same time, the daily 55 is holding us up. If this ends up creating like a flag pattern, that actually points down. And once again, I don't really want that. Okay, but technically it's still buyable. It's a little bit worrisome. Okay, so like, what I meant by a flag is if it does something like this, if we consolidate making lower highs and higher lows, then very often the pattern that could present itself is down, 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 right? And then continuation. I don't want that. Okay? I don't want that. Doesn't mean it won't happen. I just don't want it. So anyways, the pattern I'm kind of looking at here is this is my buy zone. And my target is a higher high. Okay, so it ain't good, it ain't bad. I've seen better, but we do have a 5A cross up. Now it's bending back down. So I don't know. It's one of those things. Mediocrity. Okay, mediocrity. Again, we need some good China news if that's your play. Okay. Should you give up on it? I don't know. Here's the third week of August where I said it would rally. Here's the third week of September when I said it would rally. Okay. Now pretty soon, right? Next week will be the third week of October. Can we repeat maybe? Or I mean, third week in November even. Sorry. Okay. Is there any, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, what do you think the hope level, that was supposed to be blue, by the way. Let's get that back to blue. What is this reasonable? Okay. Is that reasonable? Or am I being unreasonable? Yep. Yeah, well, all you guys are in the day trading group, so hey, we all have the same plan. I wonder how that happened, right? Oh, look at Alejandro pressing buttons. That's pretty funny. Yeah, funny how that works, right? Of course, if you make money, it's because you figured Forex out. If you lose money, it's because I'm an a-hole. Hey, man, that's part of the game, man. I get it. Okay. So take a look at it on the 4. And this is still technically bearish. And I've been staying away from it. Although I think I'm actually on this trade, but I want to stay away from it. So I've I've radically pulled back the amount of trades I've made. I'm pulling back on the, even radically pulled back on lot sizes, and I'm radically patient. Okay. And I like this higher high, and what I need right now is a higher low so that maybe I can catch a new higher high. This is honestly what I'm trying to do. Okay. And it's tough, man. I'm telling you, patience and discipline is tough. Yeah. I know. Patience. I get it. What's the next trade? And you have to be disciplined to wait for the proper setup. Yeah. I got that. What's the next trade? I'm like, okay. So, all right, cool. So I'm waiting. Okay. Just waiting, man. Waiting. So close. Okay. So maybe the next 21.55 up. Maybe. What do you think? What do you think? Next time 21, because now technically on the 1 hour this is bearish. Technically on the 4 hour it's bearish. Okay, but if you want to be a bull and you're playing this as a double bottom, higher low is going to form somewhere in here, you could tell yourself, well, you're going to wait until the next 21.55 cross up. And that would make our new higher high, which then would cross our 21.50 on the 4H. Theta. But Wayne, if the market already cashed out of all markets, whoa. Okay, hang on there. It would take time to inject more money. Well, luckily, if you're talking about market participants, like in the stock market, nobody's cashed out of anything. Okay, the stock market has been going up. Okay, and we haven't had a negative 1% day in weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So nobody's getting out. The yield curve is steepening. Okay, and the reason for that is the bond market is falling, which is good. And it helps explain why stocks are up. That's healthy. But I don't see any like this idea of if they cash out of all markets. The stock investors, they're going to rebalance and they'll take some profit. But these guys get back in very quickly. Thank you, Arve. Okay. And the bond market, maybe somewhat similar depending on if they're investing or trading the bonds. And of course, for us, liquidity is not an issue ever. If you want to take out $1 billion or put in $1 billion, it's not a problem. So, okay. So just the first part of the question kind of makes it out of the question. Okay. And would it take more time to re-inject it? And not really, because again, if there's a rebalancing, okay, let's say there's a rebalancing on January 1st or December 31st, okay, of stock portfolio rebalancing, then what will happen is there'll be wash sales and some tax-based stuff, but what will happen is these investors will now have stocks and cash. But they don't get paid to hold the cash. So they'll be very quickly to buy more stocks. What I'm suggesting is if we're talking about American stock funds rebalancing, and they remember, they're not selling, they're rebalancing. And with the additional cash, they buy euro stocks. Okay? And that would create euro dollar up. Okay? So that's all. Well, Theta, whenever you get the feeling to talk about, you want to discuss the crazy far out stuff, temper the enthusiasm for it. Because really, like, I'm not poo-pooing on the conversation, but what I'm saying is, as a trader, it's already a struggle to stay logical, meaning you have to be able to understand why you're right and why you're wrong. You have to have enough clarity to see that you're wrong, even though you've built up all this evidence that you should be right. And it's always a struggle. So sort of the extraordinary circumstances are just not helpful. You know, you can't plan for a black swan. And if you are, it's not a black swan. But you need to recognize the risks, and that's hard enough. Okay? Okay? And that's hard enough. Alexander says, why is Bitcoin down? Well, maybe it has to do with the fact that it wants to be taxed now. Yeah. Or that there's a crackdown on miners in China. Yeah. Or it double topped at the all-time high of 68,000. Yeah. Okay. Now you're saying, why Bitcoin down if euro dollar up? Well, they're not similar. Okay, but anyways, let's move on.com. Move on. Okay. Looking at this daily, we're at a reasonable price. Looking at it on the 4-hour, we're at a reasonable price. However, we're double topping. No, not really. What I want to point out is that it's not a double top. What I'm worried about is this. This price because we're below it, it means the market's bearish. So the double top in that context bothers me. Also, I would expect a bear to sell inside that pink zone. If I was a bear, that's what the Wayne would do. Well, Lordy, Lord have mercy. So, yeah, that could be a problem. That could be a problem. Okay. Could be a problem. So, I understand bulls buying here. It's all good in the hood. And retrying on the central, that's fine, that's fine. But I also understand the bears selling in these places. I understand that as well. So I guess what you should do is play it like this. What do you think? Thiago says, Wayne, if the European stocks rise, euro gets strong? Oh, for sure. If Americans are buying it. Because money is flowing out of the rebalanced fund portfolios in U.S. stocks. Now they have cash. So now you have to exchange, aka sell the dollar to buy the euro. And now you own euro, so now you can buy euro stocks. Is that gray rectangle in the sell zone a psych level? No, we called that as resistance earlier. I think we did that on Sunday. I think that was our projected high for a day trade. Okay. So it's just old analysis. If the market is a risk-off mode, then should the yen get stronger? Yes, Jimmy. Yes, JP. I think the stock market's going to fall, but not until January. So, did you guys watch the interview with Solomon, the head of Goldman Sachs? What he thinks about the economy and the markets? While you're doing your research? Oh, check this out. It's right on the home page. For crying out loud, it's right on the home page. I didn't even have to search for it. So you guys are doing fundamental research, right? You are paying attention to this stuff, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? You don't even have to read good. All right, well, you might have to pay $2 a month. I always find this funny though, right? You could pay $2 a month or $300 a year. You get it on FX Street? All right, sure. Yeah, I like FX Street. Cool. Hey, Packy asked a question. The answer's right there, bro. It's not hard. Just look at it. Right. There you go. But that shouldn't matter. Okay. All right. Now, pound is doing quite well, right? We have a BOE meeting coming up in December. And once again, the market is pricing in a rate hike. Inflation in the UK is twice as high as the target rate in by the Bank of England. Okay. Okay. So that's interesting. You can see it coming in. It was priced out. Now it's being priced in again. What a topsy-turvy world. Well, what do we know on this chart? This chart basically says you can assume a 2155 cross up, which is great, which means if you're going to make that assumption, which is, somewhat dangerous, but you can make that call, then on this time frame, you have permission to buy dips. The ultimate dip really is the one that comes back a little farther than this chart is indicating now, but then you pull that 21 above the 55 on the 4H and you're golden. Richard says, hey, saw the latest dairy products report. Yeah, the Fonterra dairy auctions. Yeah, what we're trying to look for that, Richard, I mean, in general, we're using that as one gauge as a demand for, any product, really, right? Like, if demand for that is going up, then that should give more demand for New Zealand dollar, for example. That's kind of what we're looking at. So, relatively, if China, let's say, is buying more lactose, okay, they might be buying more iron ore from Australia as well. Not necessarily, but you would try to make that connection through research and see if it's true or not. I mean, we can pull it up quickly. Do 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 do. Okay, up 1.9. Okay, ist gut. Okay, so that's good. So prices were way too low, and now they're returning from too high to reasonable. Okay, that's good. It's decent. So does this look like the prices are transitory high, meaning that they're high, but then they'll come back down naturally through supply and demand? Or does it look like high prices are going to stay? Because right now we have sort of this as a pattern. Because that's really the question. It's not that there's inflation. Who doesn't know there's inflation? The issue is, will we have this inflation in 5 years from now? Jan says, is the yearly pivot point good to use? Well, it is an algorithm. So yeah, it'll plot high, low, and close just like anything else. But is it used by other people? Is the other thing yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Okay. But you'll notice that we've already hit most of the targets. So we're really setting up next year, which is interesting. Okay. But anyways, no one's answering the question, so we'll take it as rhetorical. I kind of think like maybe that's the high of 2021, and maybe 2022 is going to be more like that. Okay? Now, I want to stay on this. Let's do a little bit of fundamentals if you don't mind, right? Let's do some fundamentals. So demand for food products. In this case, think of every fast food restaurant on the planet needing to buy these things to make you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for example, right? That's just one way of looking at it. Or the food on your shelf. If you have food in your freezer, if you have food in your pantry, okay? Like I try to make, so like last night I made beef stew for the family. I bought the beef, I bought the mushrooms, well, my wife did, but the beef, the mushrooms, the carrots, the celery, the onion, the garlic, right? So there was no other stuff in it. But if you got stuff in your fridge or freezer or on the pantry, they're not, right? They're using liquid milk, they're using powdered milk, they're, right? All this kind of stuff, okay? To process your food. So now we're, right? Now we're talking about like, this is real demand. Are people buying food, right? Like a true demand. And the answer is yes. Okay. And more than previous, and certainly not, things are better than they were way back in July, right? So, but it doesn't look out of control. If we had another big, even higher, right, price up here, it would show, ooh, man, maybe this is not transitory. Now, we all know lumber prices went to a bajillion. I guess we can do that now. Lumber futures prices. Okay. Oh, sure. They're not going to have a chart. Come on. Settlement, volume, calendar, Globex. No chart. You're kidding me. I guess these are charts. January. These are all. Let's go back. That's not going to be what I want. It's going to be the same one. Trading economics. This might be better. Okay. What do you think? This shows lumber prices due to the supply chain challenges during COVID. Lumber went from 600 to 1,600 and now is back to 600. That seems like transitory. The supply chain fixed itself. It didn't need the government to fix itself. Okay? So maybe food is fixing itself and lumber or material or whatever, however you want to classify this particular commodity, has fixed itself. What else has fixed itself? Baltic Dry Index. We'll use the same one here. Okay. Let's see. We went from 2,800 to 6,000. 300% increase. And now we're at 2,600. We're lower than we were back in the summer. Transitory. So Jim says, yeah, food prices, inflation, medium term. Yeah, Could be, right? Could be. We don't know. Lumber has fixed itself. Baltic Dry Index fixed itself. Okay? By the way, all recently. Now, maybe this is a good thing or maybe this is a bad thing. Maybe it's the beginning of something horrible. But from what I can tell, demand still exists. Okay? So there's two things that has happened here. And we don't really know. Oh, man, that's terrible. We don't really know. Okay? Quantity, price, demand, supply. So demand 1. Okay? And supply 1. Okay. So okay, there's the P1, and this is, Q1. Okay, so the price here has fallen. So what has happened? Has demand fallen to demand 2? So Q2 is here now. So quantity of demanded has fallen, therefore price has fallen. Is that what's happened? That would do it. Less quantity, okay? And this is an index of price, so price has fallen. So you'd have to say, well, prices got so high that demand has fallen. Or you can say Q1, price, right? Demand, 1, supply, 1, okay? P1, trying to do this, come on. Q1, okay? Or what? Supply is shifted to supply 2. More ships are now available. Maybe the ports are opening up. Now maybe there's less waiting to get in. Ports around the world have found their truckers and their unloaders and all that kind of stuff. So supply is increased from quantity 1 to quantity 2. So we have it going this way now to Q2. And that lowered price. Price of the Baltic Dry Index. The price of renting a ship to move your iron ore and coal. Okay? Now you'd have to reverse this if this was the supply of ships or something, but we're just saying whatever. Okay? So either demand has fallen apart because there's so much inflation, nobody can afford to buy anything. I don't know what your opinion is. And you might live in a different country and in a different economy, and you're walking around, you're like, it's a month's wage to buy diapers. Then you're going to say, oh my God, this inflation is, nobody can afford that. No one's going to spend a whole month's wage to buy diapers. They're going to find a substitute. They're going to use cloth diapers instead of Huggies, okay? So you might say, oh my God, it's unsustainable levels of inflation. But in the United States, you can go and say, oh my God, it's $1 extra to buy, filet mignon. How terrible. What am I going to do, right? And your point of view might be quite differently. So I'm not here to tell you which one is right, but is it demand destruction? Which is bad. That's a bad scenario. That would be risk off. Or is it a supply increase, which is a good thing? Okay, this would say transitory. This would say, hey man, transitory or not, it's shutting our economy down. People can't afford to buy Christmas presents this year. Now keep in mind, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Americans are getting free money from the government. Yep. Savings has never been higher. It's like more money is in American bank accounts than in many let's say at least a generation. maybe even 2 generations. There's more money in the banks right now than the banks can handle. And it's a problem for the banks because there's so much cash. So if Christmas presents go up $1, is it really going to cancel Christmas? So I lean on the supply side where I see signs that it is transitory. Now, how many people have heard all this kind of stuff in your own research and your own, in your own research, seen things like, okay, the Baltic Dry Index is normalizing, for example. Like, who's been talking about this stuff? Lumber prices specifically, Baltic Dry Index specifically. Who was just recently talking about that you should have caught in your research? Never Stop Grinding says Americans are getting free money. Yeah, I'm still getting free money and I don't know why. I don't even know why. It just keeps showing up. And in fact, I think it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month just keep rolling in. And we're like, huh, look at that. No. Okay. Okay. Come on. No, come on, guys. Oh my God. Really? Yeah, unemployment. Yeah, it's a child credit, but I don't know why I'm getting it. I never get credit for anything. Right? Like, I don't, but why? I don't know. Anyways. And by the way, at least in our schools here, all children get free lunch. All children get free lunch. And at the end of the day, there's so much food in the schools because maybe half the school eats it. They throw it all in the garbage. It's amazing. So my son says the best part of high school is that he likes the cafeteria and they give him extra food if he wants. He's very particular as an eater, so he likes certain things and he just hates other things. So he'll go back and say, hey, can I have some more green beans and a bun or something? And they're like, oh, sweetheart, right? There's so much food that they just throw everything in the garbage. So they're just like, hey, man, not a problem. Right? Okay. All right. So this is crazy. So you're breaking my heart, ladies and germs. You're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart. I'm going to cry. Oh, my God. You don't know the answer to this one. Oh, my God. All right. You guys are going to laugh. Okay. Kashkari. Kashkari. President of a regional Fed bank and voting member of the FOMC recently, and by the way, I gave you the link. I asked you to do it. I don't think you even have to read it. I think you just watch the interview. And they're asking him, is it transitory or not transitory? And he says, inflation's transitory. And they're like, how do you know? And he says, like, look at lumber prices. They corrected themselves. Look at the Baltic Dry Index. That corrected itself. Look at these other things. They corrected themselves. And he says, so we're watching all these things, but we don't want to raise interest rates because of a supply chain issue that over time will correct itself. If we raise it now, it won't do anything. And he's a voting member. And by the way, we fired half of the FOMC, right? And let's say there's a reasonable chance now that Powell's going to get fired because of all the other reasons, right? So 2 or 3 other guys got fired. Another guy just quit. So obviously nobody likes the hot seat being at the Fed right now. So it's going to get interesting. The Fed is in jeopardy now. So maybe Biden just keeps Powell in because everything else looks like a house of cards. But if we're changing out all the Fed presidents and the chair of the board of governors, right? All in the same year, that's going to be a biatch to predict, man. That could be ugly for us currency traders. Okay? So anyways. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God, though. Come on, guys. Which tells me I do these things. I share it with you. I tell you it's radically important. I give you the link. And you don't watch a 12-minute video that I thought was really important? I'm going to drink some vodka. Hang on. Oh, man. Maybe you'll just call it a day, huh? Spaghetti noche. But anyways. Yeah, watching it now. I'm watching it. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, Skull! Yeah. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Well, the thing is, I live such a strange, crazy life. Just waking up and going to bed is not a normal thing for me. Anyways. So, look, Pig Dog could be interesting. I'm starting to get permission to engage in some of these. Okay? But be careful because, I don't know. Don't be... you should always be careful. But let me say this differently. This right here is a bet, and not by you, so it's okay, but it's a market bet. Bank of England raises goes from 0.1 to 0.25 in December. So you have to about that period to make your money on this thing. So this, in my humble opinion, is a giant front run. So, hang on. Okay. So let's clean our palettes, if you will. Let's just look at a point of view from here. Somebody asked me earlier, hey, do annual pivot points work? No, that's just a coincidence. Or this one, or this one, or this one. Okay, I don't know, man. I don't know. Do they work? I don't know. Okay. All right. So you make your own conclusions, right? Okay, great. So where are we going with this? Okay. If we close somewhere around here, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, maybe where we are. Okay, we'll say somewhere between the R1 and R2. Which direction does the central pivot point go for next year? Roblox has gone through the roof. My son told me not to buy it. By the way, my son is becoming more and more interested in becoming a trader. Interesting. He's a year or two ahead in math and still doing AP on top of that. He's doing AP gifted math a year ahead. He's a coder and a gamer. So right now he's going to learn programming for robotics. I don't know what language it is. He learned Java when he was 7, but we're going to get him to maybe start doing some Python, and I'll start teaching him the ropes. But anyways, What an amazing thing if you could start that young. Okay. So anyways, yeah, the central pivot would rise for next year. So let's say if it closes where it is now, halfway between R1 and R2, it's going to move it up quite a bit. Let's say about here. Oops, let's make that black. That would mean, okay, I'm going to then say, if that is true, remember, if-then statement, if that is true, this would be a buy zone in Q1. Okay? Do you guys like doing this kind of information? That the March low would be, let's say, somewhere between 43, 44, 45, somewhere in there. Because right now we're just guesstimating where this closes. Do you like this idea? Let's say between 45 and 40. We'll probably be buying this up. Well, I think that this would actually occur on dollar. So this is pound yen. Let me show you how interesting it can get. Great British pound versus yen. JPY. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just showing you what the technical analysis tells you. It's just an algorithm. It's stupid. It's not thinking. It's not guessing. It's not looking for patterns. It's not doing things like seasonality or geopolitical risk. It's just an algorithm. So you need to know more about this. It's a monkey wrench, not a plumber. Do you understand that? It's a hammer. You're the carpenter. You're like, you know what I could really use? I'm sick of smashing this nail with my hand. It hurts. I think I'll get a hammer. Oh shit, that works so much better. This is just a tool. You're the professional. So I would say pound yen will not do this. You know what will do that? Pound dollar. We'll do something like that. And that this pattern that I just talked about is going to happen. It'll start in July, let's say, and hit in August. If July 1st, this will happen August 18th. And then you're like, well, what? Join my live groups, guys. If you're looking for that kind of discussion, this is what we do in great detail. You're like, wow, wouldn't that be helpful? Yeah, I think it would be. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at monthly now. See what kind of meat is on this bone, on these bones. I look at this chart and it tells me we're going to 162. Maybe one. Oh my God, I already have a limit order there. It's funny, isn't it? You're like, wait. That SOB had a trade plan. Uh-huh. Yeah, look at it's sitting there right below because I have to go through it to get taken out. Oh my God, he has a plan. Shoot, that would be helpful. Yeah. So anyways, I already got this planned out. This is the best buying price that you could hope for this month. We knew it up here. Okay? We locked that price in here. Okay? 152.80. Sorry, 152.60 is the best price you could possibly hope for if you're a bull, and you should be going up here. Actually, I would have to adjust because really it says we're going here. But let's just do this. You ready? Here's how you do it. You go na 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 na. Okay. But I already have that planned out. Robin, I don't remember anymore. It was like 3 articles I compiled on the same information, and it had to do with what one article said he made, 90M, and then another one that referenced some random site I'm not familiar with that ranked fund managers. And so I found that, and it didn't say he made 90 million, remember? But it showed his results. And so, after reading 2 or 3 articles and then one linking to that, and then I pulled that up. And so anyways, yeah. But I don't, it was something stupid, like, something with just a bunch of Google ads all over it, but it was like fundmanagerrankings.com or something like that, but I don't remember. And I don't want to go through my history on this live stream and, all the child porn sites and stuff. It just gets ugly. So, maybe it's in the recording. I think I posted it in the recording of the day trading group too, didn't I? Was it, wait, was it a day trading group or thing? No, I did it in the swing trading group. Check the recordings in the swing trading group. Yeah. Oh, for sure, eh? Okay. And I look at Euro and I say, it's yours, man. Go for it. Merry Christmas. You can have it. Now, Kitty CAD, I was on, and now I'm not on. Too bad, so sad, but we're getting so close. I'm going to call this a 2155 kiss. I still have permission to engage, but this technical setup doesn't look terribly good. Let's take a look at an hourly chart and say, do I want to buy this? And I say no. Okay. So we're going to have to then trap it. And it is now a range, which is the beginning, as Lucas will point out, to an old man easing into a hot bath. And what that means is it down, 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 up, sell, down, 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 up, sell, down, 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 up, sell, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, buy, up, down, down, buy, up. Okay? And really, what it is this. Okay? And if you're Swedish, it's this. You got to put the 2 little dots on top. Cool. Okay. The O with the line crossed, that's pretty killer too. Cool. Any last questions before we call it a day? How can I help you? I am your humble Forex servant. Oh, exotics. Thank you. I'm happy to cover that. Thank you for asking. But, and that's a big but half of you have not clicked the like button. How about this? Let's get the likes to at least, how about 88? If you guys click it to 88, then I'll give you some more time of my life. We'll do some exotics. And if you have, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Only 77. Not enough juice today, I guess. It's all right, Aaron. It's the weirdest thing because there's like 112 people. So this pissed off a whole bunch of people. They just logged out. They're like, that sucks. How dare he ask for a like? Interesting. I don't understand the psychology, but I guess I don't have to. Pete's coming to the swing trading group? Cool. 80. Look at this. People are logging out like crazy. They hate the fact that I just asked. Well, I didn't mean to insult anybody. I was trying to ask nicely. Yeah, I guess they don't care. They don't want to do exotics, I guess, huh? Interesting. 83. 5 more, Bubba. Everyone liked already. Well, it's weird because like 1,000 people will watch a video. 18 people will leave a comment, you know, and 90 people will click thumbs up. It's just really interesting, right? 90% of people don't do anything, which is interesting. Oh, one more, baby, one more. There we go. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate you. That's 88 thumbs up, 88 fingers, one for every piano key. Let's do some exotics. Booyah! All right. When dollar is strong, foreign countries borrowing dollars have to pay more money. Because remember, that weakens their currency relative to their dollar, and they have to take either the foreign reserves they have in their central bank to pay the debt, or if you're a corporation, convert your pesos into dollars through the central bank, or through your bank, which does it through the central bank. Either way, you're going to need more peso to pay back your dollar loans. So a dollar going up is bad for emerging markets, okay? Bad for exotics. And, okay, so we've had some dollar strength recently. And ishbad. Yeah. Now, the current high for the month for the Mexican peso is the monthly R1, which predicts an inside month, which is a fancy way to say the bottom is going to be S1. So let's identify these numbers. I'm not even looking at price right now, except for what the top is. Okay. So this chart says this reasonably predicts that. Okay. If the dollar persists to be strong all month, okay, then we could go higher and get to approximately M4, which is just above, probably right about here, just above 21. Okay, so if this rolls over, we sort of stay down here. But if this persists, we have weeks on end of dollar strength. Peso just won't beat the dollar. the peso is not important enough to overshadow dollar strength. There would be more demand for dollar than peso in that situation, right? Okay. So what you need to do at the very least is wait for dollar weakness and then find your lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high scenario. Okay, we're currently sitting on the weekly, I don't know what you want to call it. This is an R1, but we were here. So this is just sort of a mess right now. Fibonacci would not help you on this. This is just a big distraction on dollar strength. So one way to look at it, again, like I've been showing you, is look at the 4 hour. And the 4 hour is clearly bullish. Traders are clearly trading off the 4 hour 21, but to the upside. So I would want to see a big rotation. You know, for example, you know, there's all kinds of garbage going on here. So like technically we would need to be down to the 21, down to the 55, right? And then through to the 200. Well, what it looks like is happening today is someone bought it at the role reversal and we're going higher. Doesn't mean it'll have to go that way, but that's kind of what it looks like. The current bottom of the week is, right, CPP, so we're going to R2. R2 is way up there, probably 21, almost 21. So what the chart says, remember, this is not my opinion. If I just do, let's just clear this up so there's not too many lines. This is what the chart says. Okay? The chart says this to this. 20.967. So if we maintain this trajectory, this vector, we're going to 21. Not my opinion, that's just what it says. If you don't like it, turn the radio up to that sweet sound. Hold me close, never let me go. All right, Rand, same problem. Their debts are going up. It's bad news for South Africa. This is the dollar weakening. It was good for South Africa, right? This was great. This is not great. This is great. This is not great. Okay? So, you know, once again, we're approaching R1. It's the wrong direction, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, and on the higher time frame, you know, this is a real struggle for South Africa right now. Because this higher high, yeah, it takes a lot of wind out of the sails. Maybe it blows a hole through the sails, and that's the problem, right? So, oh, man, man. Bad news. Bad news for emerging markets. Okay. And maybe we're going to have a bigger pullback in commodities because supply chains, like we looked at, some of the supply chains have normalized. So maybe commodities are overpriced, and so therefore, like South Africa exports a lot of commodities. Now, Mexico has something that South Africa doesn't have. First of all, it has a lot of oil, but that wasn't what I was going to point out. Mexico is right next door to the United States, so it's a big trading partner. And did you guys watch the interview? The CEO of Walmart was talking about their supply chain and how they're addressing their issues. He specifically mentioned leaning on Canada and Mexico more since they're having troubles with their suppliers in in Asia, like Vietnam, Korea, China, okay, for example. So, which means the CEO of, I think, largest company in the United States in terms of employees and all that, one of the biggest supply chain, and all that, they're going to lean on Mexico a little more than usual. Okay. Does South Africa have that? Well, they can lean on Zimbabwe. Huh? Botswana's going to save them. Swaziland. It's going to be good for South Africa, the South African economy. Maybe Angola, right? Angola's got a lot of oil money. Okay. So anyways, cool. Hey, I want to thank you for being in my life and being a subscriber of YouTube. I like doing this webinar every day. Even when I'm on vacation, I do this webinar every day. When I'm sick, I do this webinar every day. If I'm traveling, which I haven't done nearly enough recently, but if I travel, I do this webinar every day. Yeah. So anyways, thank you for giving me reason to get out of bed. Because I could open up my chart on my cell phone going, 21's below the 55, sleep in today. But I don't, because I need, right? I have to serve you. And that's a privilege. So thank you for being here. And thank you for those little thumbs up thingies. I know they're silly, but I'm just trying to get YouTube to promote the video. Because when they do, 15,000 people see it. When they don't, 1,000 people see it. And I don't understand how they make that determination. Okay? So I'm just, hey man, just thanks. If you're in my day trading group, I will see you at 4 p.m. to catch the market close. And if you're in my swing trading group, I will see you at 4 p.m. tomorrow, along with the day trading group. So, let's do what we always do, right? Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. See you later, huh?